people are very polarized in all kind of ways. People are afraid to speak out.
Tyler Perry is a celebrated filmmaker, actor, and comedian who has carved out a significant niche for himself in the entertainment industry. His work, which often touches on issues of race and class, has made him a respected figure within Hollywood. But it appears there's more to Perry than his impressive resume and reputation suggest. Recently, Perry was caught up in a storm of controversy and accused of mistreating smaller artists, particularly those of color. It seems that beneath the surface of his successful career, there might be a darker side that many were unaware of. These allegations have sparked intense debate and brought attention to the often glossed over issue of systemic racism within the entertainment industry. And now, adding fuel to this already blazing fire, Grammy-winning singer Fantasia has stepped forward to support Monique's claims against Perry. Monique, an Oscar-winning actress herself, has long spoken out about her experiences of being blackballed in Hollywood, pointing the finger at figures like Perry. So, what does this mean for Perry's reputation and standing within the industry? Well, before I get into that, let me run past you what Fantasia and the group had to say. Alright, let's get real here. We can't say we're entirely surprised by these allegations against Tyler Perry. Why? Because this isn't the first time someone has raised a red flag about his actions in the industry. Perry has long been seen as a trailblazer for black actors and actresses in Hollywood. He's been hailed as a filmmaker who opens doors for black talent that often gets overlooked by mainstream Hollywood. But now, with these claims of mistreatment coming to light, it feels like there's a disconnect. It's honestly pretty disheartening to think that someone who has been a beacon of hope for so many might not be living up to those high standards. And you know what? These accusations aren't just one-off incidents. They're part of a bigger picture that suggests Perry might have a pattern of behavior that's not so great for those trying to make their way up in the industry. The fact that this isn't the first time such concerns have popped up paints a worrying picture. It makes you wonder if there's more to this story than what we're seeing on the surface. But here's the thing. This isn't just about Perry's alleged wrongdoings. It's a wake-up call about the deeper issues that exist within the entertainment industry. It's a reminder that even those who seem to be on our side can sometimes contribute to the problem, and it underscores the need to hold everyone accountable, no matter how big or influential they might be in the industry. And then there's Fantasia. She's now stepping into the ring, backing Monique's claims against Perry. And trust me, she's not mincing her words. Fantasia is suggesting that Perry isn't exactly shelling out fair pay to black actresses. Now, if that's true, it's a pretty big deal. I mean, think about it for a second. Tyler Perry, a successful black filmmaker who's made a name for himself by telling stories about the black experience, is being accused of shortchanging black actresses. Can you see the irony here? And it doesn't stop there. Fantasia is also hinting at a bias Perry might have when it comes to black artists. That's a pretty heavy accusation, especially considering Perry's own racial background and his reputation as a supporter of black talent in Hollywood. If these allegations are true, it's a far cry from the image Perry has been projecting all these years. But here's the kicker. Just because someone looks like you doesn't automatically make them your ally. It's a tough truth to swallow, but it's important to realize that sometimes those within our own community can be part of the problem. Now let's be honest here. Most of us kind of saw this coming, didn't we? When Monique first started talking about Perry, it wasn't just idle gossip. Her words had weight. They made us sit up and take notice. And you know what? Many of us believed her. Monique has been in the industry for a long time. She's seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. So when she started sharing her experiences with Perry, it wasn't easy to dismiss her claims as mere sour grapes. There was something about the way she spoke, the conviction in her voice, that made us think, hey, maybe there's more to this story. And now, with Fantasia backing her up, it feels like our suspicions were not unfounded. It's like watching a puzzle come together, piece by piece. The picture isn't pretty, but it's important that we see it for what it is. Now, let's not forget that Fantasia isn't just speaking out because she's backing Monique. She's also had her own share of injustice in the industry. And guess what? It's not just Perry who's been called into question here. Oprah Winfrey, who is known to be good friends with Tyler, has also come under Fantasia's radar. Fantasia's experiences highlight a bigger issue, that even the most influential and respected figures in the industry can contribute to its problems. It's easy to put people like Perry and Oprah on a pedestal because of their accomplishments. But at the end of the day, they're human too, and they can make mistakes. The key here is accountability. Just because someone has achieved great things doesn't mean they're above reproach. If anything, they should be held to higher standards because of their influence and the example they set for others. So when Fantasia speaks out about her experiences with Perry and Oprah, it's not just about airing dirty laundry. It's about calling for fairness and respect, regardless of who you are or how successful you've become. It's about making making sure everyone in the industry is treated with the dignity they deserve. And honestly, isn't that something we should all strive for? But we're glad she's finally giving Monique some support too. Poor Monique had to weather the storm for quite a while, and that too, all alone. What's worse is that she had to face Perry's wrath for a very long time, and all of it started with the movie Precious. Now, let's take a step back and look at where all this drama really started. Remember the movie Precious? Released in 2009, it was based on a true story, with Monique starring as the lead character's abusive mother, Mary Lee Johnston. Monique's performance was nothing short of brilliant. She bagged both a Golden Globe and an Academy Award for her role in the film the following year. But while she was shining on screen, there was a whole lot of drama unfolding behind the scenes. And guess who was at the center of it? None other than Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels, and Tyler Perry, the producers of the film. Here's what went down. Ahead of awards season, Monique was asked to appear at the Cannes Film Festival in France to promote the film. Sounds like a pretty standard request, right? But here's the catch. Monique wouldn't be paid for her appearance because it wasn't part of her original contract. Now that didn't sit well with her, and understandably so. So, she declined. Monique wasn't just going to sit back and accept the situation. She stood her ground telling Oprah, "I'm doing a talk show. I'm doing a comedy tour. I have a husband and I have babies. I have a little bit of downtime and I'm going to take advantage of it. So I'm not going anywhere because I'm not obligated to go anywhere. I've done my part." That's what she told The Hollywood Reporter. But standing up for herself had consequences. Before long, Monique claims she was blackballed from the industry, labeled as hard to work with. It's a harsh reality that many artists face when they choose to speak out against unfair practices in the industry. Yet, despite the challenges, Monique hasn't backed down. To this day, she continues to demand justice. Her fight isn't just about her own experiences, but about creating a fairer, more respectful industry for all artists. It's a reminder that sometimes standing up for what's right can come at a cost. But for Monique, it's a price worth paying. While Monique's relationship with Lee Daniels seems to have taken a turn for the better, with the comedian claiming that Lee has publicly apologized for his part in the downfall of her career, it appears that the same can't be said for Oprah or Tyler. The tension between Oprah and Monique reportedly escalated after Oprah invited Monique's family on her talk show to discuss the abuse Monique suffered during her childhood. That's a deeply personal topic, and it's easy to see how this could have added fuel to the fire. As for Tyler Perry, things seem to be a bit more complicated. Monique suggests that he's had a change of heart, but what does that mean exactly? Has he acknowledged his alleged mistreatment of black actresses? Is he ready to make amends? Or is this just another twist in an already convoluted saga? Now, I know I'm putting these questions in your head, but I just want to tell you, it doesn't get better. Apparently, he said that he'd try to fix stuff, but he didn't do jack shit. Now let's dive a little deeper into Monique's claims. She's been pretty vocal about how she believes the trio of Lee Daniels, Oprah Winfrey, and Tyler Perry played a part in blacklisting her from Hollywood. But here's where things get really interesting. Monique says she has a telephone recording of Tyler Perry actually agreeing that he started the rumor she was difficult to work with. Can you imagine? That's a pretty heavy accusation to make. And it's not just Monique saying this. Shannon Sharp, the host of Club Shay Shay, has also confirmed that he's heard the recording himself. Now, he chose not to use it in his podcast, but Monique insists that it's legal. More on that ahead. This adds a whole new layer to the saga. If what Monique is saying is true, it's not just about being blacklisted. It's about deliberately damaging her reputation, and that's a serious issue. It speaks volumes about the lengths some people might go to silence those who stand up for their rights, and fans online agreed with her. One person wrote, "One thing you could never say about Monique is she's a liar. If Monique said Tyler Perry and Oprah played with her career and money, then they played with her career and money." Monique's story has been consistent, and Taraji confirmed it without even knowing she did. In the same episode of the Club Shay Shay podcast, Monique didn't hold back. She reiterated her previous statements and added another layer to the story involving Lee Daniels. According to Monique, Daniels claimed he had offered her a role in The Butler, but Monique says that's far from the truth. This isn't just a simple misunderstanding. It's another example of the alleged misinformation and manipulation that Monique claims she's been subjected to. If what she's saying is true, it's not just about being blacklisted or underpaid. It's about being lied to and misrepresented. As he said to me, "Mo, at the time I didn't have no power and I didn't have no money." So, when Oprah said she wanted it, who played the lead role in The Butler? Oprah Winfrey, the actress claimed. Alright, let's dive a bit deeper into this saga. Monique, who you might remember as one of the queens of comedy, had more to share during her recent podcast appearance. She brought up another incident that echoes her experiences with Precious. This time, it was about an unreleased Richard Pryor biopic. According to Monique, she was initially offered a role in the film, but then, out of the blue, she was axed. Now, that's gotta sting, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Despite all the drama and disappointment, Monique says she managed to make peace with Lee Daniels in 2022. That's quite a turn of events, wouldn't you say? But wait, there's more to this story. Monique dropped a real bombshell when she claimed to have an audio recording of a call with none other than Tyler Perry. In this alleged recording, Perry supposedly comes clean about telling folks in Hollywood that Monique was difficult to work with. And if that's not shocking enough, Perry allegedly admitted he was wrong for doing so. He even promised to publicly clear her name after his 2016 movie Boo premiered. Can you imagine how that must have felt for Monique to hear those words and then see no action taken? She even mentioned how Perry turned so many people against her. But hold on, there's even more to this story. Monique also claimed that Perry told singer Stephanie Mills that he would only meet her if her husband and manager, Sydney Hicks, weren't present. Now, that's a pretty specific demand, don't you think? And it doesn't stop there. Monique is not just asking for an apology from Perry, she's also calling out Oprah Winfrey. According to Monique, Oprah took away all the leading roles that were originally offered to her.
What would it take, Mo? Mo, what would it take for Monique to forgive Oprah and Tyler Perry?
Be accountable. Be accountable. And for
You want Tyler Perry to say what he said on that tape, you want him to say that publicly.
And he cost my family millions.
And you want to be compensated.
Yes, I want to be very clear about that. If someone cost you millions, do you want that back?
Absolutely.
So I'm no different than you.
Right.
Especially when I've done nothing wrong.
Right.
Especially when you've admitted that you've lied.
Okay.
Especially when you've admitted that you started a rumor. Yes, you need to compensate me and my family.
For Oprah.
For Oprah Winfrey, you owe me an apology. See, Shannon, Oprah and I had a private conversation about our mothers.
Mm-hmm.
This is the part people don't know.
Right.
I shared with that woman what me and my mother were going through. Now, my mother's no longer here, right?
Right.
And I shared with Oprah Winfrey what we were going through and how I felt. And I was, you trying to balance it out because it's your mother. And I shared that with you. And I shared with her my family and what the dynamic was. And you don't tell me you're going to have my goddamn parents. I was getting ready to say, goddamn, baby, it was right there. But you don't tell me you're going to have my mother and my father on your show. And you think that that's just okay? And the way you try to apologize in front of a group of women, if you think I've done anything wrong,
No.
you're gonna stop that.
Right.
I am very proud of what you've accomplished in your life. We respect everybody, but we over-respect no one. And Oprah Winfrey walks around like, I can't be checked. I won't admit to that I'm wrong.
I'm a firm believer, Mo. No one is beyond reproach.
No one at all. So when you keep saying, what is it? I'm going to keep answering you the same exact way.
Right.
So if you talk to your camera, I'm going to talk to my camera and see how they split the screen. And we're going to invite them at the same time. You talk to them first.
Tyler, Oprah, I would greatly appreciate it if you two guys would come on Club Shay Shay. We sit down, we have a conversation. This is not an interview. This is not hard hitting. I want you to tell your truth. Miss Oprah, Tyler, tell your truth, and we can get to the bottom of this because, hey, we got an icon here sitting on this couch, and she's hurting.
Oprah and Tyler, I want to say I appreciate my brother Shannon Shaw for saying what he just said, and I want to clear something up. I'm not hurt personally. I'm hurt for our community. I'm hurt that y'all would allow yourselves to sit in something that you know that you've done wrong and not say anything. That helps us not. So Brother Shay Shay have said, y'all come on the sofa. Oprah, this liquor is good. Okay, and I understand you like cranberry and vodka. Okay, Roosevelt Cartwright told me you drink that you like. And he told me some other things with the drink that you like. Come on, Uncle Shay Shay. Let's have a conversation. Well, you took yours all the way down, and I cannot. Okay? Ooh. Okay, I cannot do that.
You already did a good job.
Thank you, sugar. Now, when we get ready to wrap up, I'm going to give you an exclusive on something that don't nobody know. Ooh. Okay? Don't nobody know this, and it's going to be something.
And then there was Kevin Hart, who Perry also turned. This whole situation is like a tangled web of allegations and revelations. It's clear that Monique isn't backing down. She's standing up for herself and demanding apologies from some of the biggest names in Hollywood. You've been unfair, you've been unjust, and you watched the black woman be thrown under the bus, and you said nothing. This woman has overstepped with me in so many ways, she said of Winfrey. But here's the thing, Monique isn't just speaking out for herself. The Grammy winner made it clear that she's speaking up for her community as a black black woman in Hollywood. She's not just personally hurt, but she's concerned about the bigger picture. And you know what? She's calling for Oprah and Perry to step up and address her claims. She even suggested they should go on Sharp's podcast to do so, as reported by Business Insider. That would definitely be an episode worth tuning into, wouldn't it? But wait, there's more. Monique also accused Oprah of blindsiding her back in 2010 by interviewing her estranged family on her show. According to Monique, Oprah never gave her a heads up that her parents and brother would be on the show. And when Monique tried to reach out to Oprah to clarify the issue, she says her calls were ignored. "You betrayed me, sister," she said to Oprah, saying that if she knew what was going on, she would have had it shut down since it was her personal life. And fans obviously rioted on social media. One person wrote, "Monique made $50,000 for Precious. Precious cost $10 million to make and made $63 million profit. Tyler Perry and Oprah should be ashamed of themselves for having Monique blackballed for a low-budget film." Now, with all of this happening, it's clear to us that maybe Tyler Perry isn't the saint that he claims himself to be. What's worse is that in all of this, he didn't say a word against anything that was happening. He didn't apologize to Monique for ruining his career, and then when Oprah went on to ruin her life some more, there was radio silence from Perry's end. Tyler Perry even claims that he did nothing of the sort when it comes to getting her blackballed from the industry, but he also didn't say anything when all of this injustice was happening. So it does make him an accomplice in all of this. Now, we aren't surprised that he didn't say anything, because the man is known to wreak havoc on black artists all the time. So here's a blast from the past. Remember when the Writers Guild of America West took on Tyler Perry? Yeah, that was quite a showdown. The guild filed an unfair labor practice charge against House of Pain LLC, which is the production company for Perry's comedy House of Pain and its spin-off Meet the Browns. And guess who owns House of Pain LLC? Yep, you guessed it, Tyler Perry himself. Now here's where things get juicy. The guild claimed that Perry fired 4 writers from House of Pain and Meet the Browns, but it wasn't just a regular firing. They alleged that Perry gave these writers the boot because they were trying to negotiate a Writers Guild of America West contract for the show's writers. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of this drama. According to the guild's filing, 4 writers from House of Pain and Meet the Browns got the axe from Perry. We're talking about Kelly Griffin, Christopher Moore, Terry Brown Jackson, and Lamont Farrell. The twist? These writers had been trying to negotiate a Writers Guild of America West contract for the show since April, and then suddenly they were out of a job. Coincidence? The guild didn't think so. And here's another interesting tidbit. 3 of these writers, Moore, Brown Jackson, and Farrell, were members of the WGAW. Griffin, however, wasn't. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? But wait, there's more. The guild's filing didn't just accuse Perry of firing the writers. It also claimed that Perry's company had been negotiating in bad faith with the guild for the past 6 months. That's a pretty serious accusation, right? Now here's where it gets a bit complicated. Johnson, who was representing Perry's company, countered by saying they had actually agreed on a contract for the Browns writers on every point except one, the issue of residual payments if repeats of the cable production were to air on broadcast TV. But that's not the only time he's gone after black artists.
Some things that were untrue, some intentional lies, and I felt I was being used, and my audience trusts me. And if you're wrong, and I say they're wrong, I'll say it today that they're wrong, and I'll keep that segment in again today.
Mr. Perry comes in, everything changes. So we literally run the entire episode for him, and he hates it. He says, you know, I want Jeffrey to be gay, and he has a crush on his bully. That's not what I auditioned for. So after Mr. Perry says we're gonna change the character and make him gay, I immediately get on the phone with my mom, because I'm like, is this customary? Can they just change a character like this?
So have you heard about Brandon Jay's recent TikTok revelation? He opened up about his experience filming just one episode of Perry's Meet the Browns. And let me tell you, it wasn't a walk in the park. In fact, he said it was the most stressful and hardest experience of his life. According to Jay, a day on Perry's set is way more intense than your typical one-episode shoot. You see, episodes are usually shot in a week, but at Tyler Perry Studios, they're shot in a single day. Talk about a tight schedule. But wait, there's more. Jay also accused Perry of making last-minute changes to the scripts. Imagine having to memorize new lines right before each shoot.
We go on break, I'm sitting in my dressing room, and in walks the assistant director. I have an entire new script with all new lines, pages and pages and pages. I have an hour to learn this stuff.
Jay had auditioned for and landed the role of Jeffrey, a high school kid who was being bullied. He'd take 2 to 3 days to learn the entire script, but then, on the day of filming, Perry would walk in and everything would change. Jay recalls how they'd run the entire episode for Perry, only for him to hate it. Then, during a break, the assistant director would walk in with an entirely new script. Jay would then have just an hour to learn pages and pages of new lines. According to Jay, Perry's dislike for the original script meant everyone had to learn new lines on the spot. He even claimed that the director warned him to learn the new impromptu lines or risk getting fired. Talk about pressure, right? This whole ordeal really sheds light on what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment industry. It's not always glitz and glamour. Sometimes it's last-minute script changes and the threat of losing your job. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Jay claims that Perry decided his character would be gay and have a crush on his high school bully. That's a pretty drastic plot change, right? Especially considering it wasn't what Jay had originally auditioned for. Jay recalls Perry saying, "I want Jeffrey to be gay, and he has a crush on his bully." Can you imagine how shocked he must have been? In the second part of his expose, Jay reveals his initial response to this sudden change. He reached out to his agent, who assured him that he didn't have to take on the role if he didn't feel comfortable with it. His agent was like, "Absolutely not. If Brandon doesn't feel comfortable playing this character, then he can walk away from this. You don't have to do anything that you don't feel comfortable doing."
My agent was like, absolutely not. If Brandon doesn't feel comfortable with playing this character, then he can walk from this, because you don't have to do anything that you don't feel comfortable doing.
But after giving it some thought, Jay decided to stick with it. He saw it as an opportunity he didn't want to pass up, despite Perry's last-minute decision to make the character gay. But when Jay shared his story on Twitter, the reactions were mixed. Some people felt like he was complaining about an acting gig that involved last-minute script changes, something they believe is pretty common on sets. One user even questioned why Jay had a problem with playing a gay character. Regardless of the specifics, it's easy to see why many people might rush to defend Perry. After all, he's widely seen as a people person, and some even consider him an angel. But Jay's story serves as a reminder that there are often multiple sides to every story, especially in Hollywood. So, what do you think? Is there really a different, uglier side to Tyler Perry that we haven't been able to see? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you like this video, hit that subscribe button to never miss out on any new videos. And until then, fam, keep it real.